it's time for our maths now. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to start with some counting. Okay, just like before, you can use the songs to count in ones or tens, or you can use the 100 square. And we're going to start with a little bit of counting, but from numbers that have some ones in them. So we're going to count in tens, not with the multiples of 10. We're going to start on some different numbers. So let's start on 38 today. Can you put 38 in your head? And remember that the ones don't change when you count in tens. So 38 at 10 is 48, 58, 68, 78, 88, 98. Well done. That was quite quick, wasn't it? Let's do a different number. Let's start on 12. So can you put 12 in your head? We're going to count on in tens again. So remember, we've got to keep those 2 ones each time. So 12, go down the 100 square, 22, 32, 42, 52, 62, 72, 82, 92. That wasn't so hard, was it? We're going to use that counting today. So remember what we did just then. Okay. Right, so here's our objective. We're learning to add two-digit numbers with different representations. That just means different pictures. And we're not crossing 10 again today, so our ones won't add up to more than 9. So here's our vocabulary. Let's recap it from yesterday. 2-digit number, so like 24. We've got tens. So the first digit in a 2-digit number is the tens, and ones is the last digit. Partition, split, number into tens. So we've got 2 tens there, 10, 20, and ones, 4 ones. We're going to be adding today. It's got add, adding, addition, and equals, or total, or all together. They all mean the same thing. And because we're adding, you can call it a sum. So the sum of 24 and 13 is 37. It just means how much is it added all together. So this is a different representation of adding two-digit numbers together. We've got it laid out in columns, the picture. So rather than being next to each other, they're underneath each other, okay? So we're drawing out the numbers we can count to help us to find the answer. So here it says we need to find the sum of 34 and 23. So we've got 34 at the top and 23 here. Now, this is important. When you are adding up in columns, it's really important that you start with the ones. Because although today we're not going to go above 9 ones, when you do, when you get to 10 ones, it then becomes a 10 and you have to move it across. So you have to know whether you're going to be able to do that before you add up the tens. Okay, so we're going to practice start with the ones today. So let's count the ones. We've got 4 there, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 ones. And here, let's count the tens. We've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, which is 5 tens. I'm only going to write how many tens. I'm not going to write 50 because that would be 507. And that's not what we've got, is it? Okay, so how many tens have we got? We've got 5 tens. And that makes 57 altogether. Okay, so this time it's asking, what is the number sentence we're trying to solve? Doesn't tell us at the top this time. So can you have a look at what this number is? And this number, and tell me what my number sentence would be this time. Pause the video and have a chat to your adult. Okay, shall we see if you're right? So I can see I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64 there. And I've got 10, 11, 12 there. So I think I've got 64 and 12. Yeah, I was right. Were you right? Okay, so 64, 12. Remember what we're going to start with this time? The ones. So we've got 4 add 2. I know 4 add 2 is 6, but if you don't, you can count them. So you can count 4, 5, 6. Okay, how many tens have I got? I know there are 6 tens there in 64. So I've got 6, add 1 more 10 is 7 tens. So altogether, 7 tens at 6 ones makes 76. Okay, so 64 add 12 equals 76 altogether. So you need to partition each number into tens and ones, add together the ones, then add together the tens. We're starting with the ones first of all. Add together the 2 answers to find the whole, and swap from counting in tens to counting in ones. So remember that when you're counting, don't get carried away with counting in tens when you're actually counting the ones. I'm going to show you that. Okay, so it says here, Draw the tens and ones to help you solve the sums. So this time we've got it represented as a bar model, but it's exactly the same. You've got two-digit numbers to add together to find the whole, how much you've got all together. Okay, so let me get my pen and I'm going to draw it out. So I've got 44 to start with. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. And then I've got 32. So I've got 10, 20, 30, 31, 32. Okay, and you need to add that together. Okay, so I did say I was going to start my ones today. So I've got 4, 5, 6 ones there. How many tens have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. So that will make 76 altogether. See if you can do it like that for the second one. So pause the video, have a go, and see if you can write how many tens and how many ones you've got all together. Okay, let's have a look. So 82, I'm going to draw my 80, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, and then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I'm going to add my ones together to start with. So I know I've got 5 here because I just drew the 5 for 15. So 5, 6, 7. So I've got 7 ones. Remember, we're starting with the ones and then we're going to do the tens. So then I've got 8 tens here. I know that there. 8 tens, add one more 10 makes 9 tens. So I've got 97 altogether there. Okay, so this one's a little bit different. It says, draw a picture to help you discover whether this calculation is correct. Is it correct? Prove it. You need to draw a picture. So 56 add 32 equals 88. Does it? I don't know. Okay, pause the video and have a go. Okay, did you think it was correct or not? Let's see, I'm going to prove it. So I'm going to draw 56, 10, 20, 30, 40. That's supposed to be a 10, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to draw 32. 10, 20, 30, 31, 32. How much have I got all together? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones. And how many tens have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens. 8 tens goes in front of the ones. So I've got 88 altogether. Correct. Okay, let's have a go at the next one. Let me put my pencil away. Okay, here are lots of different representations, but you're doing the same thing for each of them, okay? So add together the tens and ones here. How much have you got all together? Here, you haven't got the whole, okay? You've got the 2 parts that make the whole. It's exactly the same. You've just got to add those 2 numbers together to make the whole, how much you've got for the total. We've just done these, the bar models. Okay, so again, you need to add the numbers together to find the whole. So you can draw them. You can do it however you like, as long as you're proving that you've got how you've got the answer. Number 4, this is in columns. It's a bit like the sticks of 10 and ones that we did at the beginning. Okay, so you've got 10, 20, 30, 42 there. Add 40, 1, 2, 3. 42 at 43. So add together the ones first. Good practice for when we go crossing into the next 10. Then add the tens. How much have you got all together? And then last of all, you've got a word problem. Becky has 51 marbles. Claire has 37 marbles. How many do they have all together? So you've got that all together word, which means that you are getting bigger. You're adding groups together. Okay. So you can have a go at doing that on your own. I'm sure you'll be able to do that easily. Now, if you could do it easily, I do expect you to get on to doing the secure it and the deepen it. If you're finding it a bit tricky, then don't worry. You can maybe ask your adult to give you a couple more examples of the do it. But if not, and you've had enough, that's okay. So for the secure it, this looks tricky, but if you think about it, it's not too bad. It asks you what digits could go in the boxes. So we've got some missing numbers here, and we know these numbers and we know the answer. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue. Okay, so 2-digit numbers, this is the tens, this is the ones. Okay, add this number, this is the tens, and this is the ones. And this is your answer. which has got 8 tens and 7 ones. So if you know the ones are going to add up to make 7, then how many tens you got to have? How could you make those tens? You could practice breaking up your 8 tens in different ways. You could maybe get your apparatus. So you need 8 long things, okay, to find the answer. There's not only one way of making the tens for those 2 digits, okay, those 2 numbers. So it says here, can you find more than one possible answer? So you can use your apparatus to try and break it up in different ways to find all the different ways of making 87. But remember, it has to make 87 altogether. You can't have more and you can't have less. Okay, so that's a little bit of a clue for tackling that one. Then I would like you to do a sentence for how you knew the secure it today, not for the deepen it. So how do you know what the answer is? What did you have to do to solve it? So you could say the answer is this, add this amount of tens because, or you could say I solved the problem by, what did you do first of all to work it out? And then you could say another example is, if you found one way, you could use another example is for your second one. Last of all, we've got the deepen it. For the deepen it, all you've got to do is you've got to choose 2 of those numbers to add together. But it does ask you, how many different totals can you make? So you could do 12 and 45, 12 and 51, 12 and 34. And then you could do 45 and 51. So if you switch them over, how many different totals can you make? Then number 2 says, what is the greatest number you can make? So if you want the biggest answer, which numbers have you got to select to give you the biggest answer? If you've managed to find all the ways, you could look at them and find the one that gives you the biggest answer. Number 3 says, what is the smallest number you can make? So if you want the smallest answer, what are the 2 cards that you need to pick that are going to give you the smallest answer? And that's everything today. Okay, so hopefully you'll get on all right with that. And if you have any questions, your parents can always email into the Year 2 address, okay? So don't worry if you find anything tricky, you can ask us and we're here to help you. All right then, good luck with your maths and I'll be in your videos tomorrow. Bye-bye.